On today's episode of Time About the Movies, Ryan Reynolds shortly will star in his biggest superhero movie of the decades, to the point where he won't have to join rival Marvel with a much better movie, because how can you go wrong with Green Lantern? We'll talk about that one. And we'll also talk about Jim Carrey stooping to maybe his lowest point, and that's saying a lot, with Mr. Popper's Penguins. Lastly, we have Freddie Highmore and Emma Roberts starring in the indie drama The Art of Getting By. So, 3 films to take a look at today for June 17th, 2011. This is Time About the Movies. So much potential completely wasted. Welcome to Time About the Movies, everybody. I guess you could say this is a bonus episode, since I already recorded one earlier today, and I figure I got time. What the hell? I'll do one for today. We are taking a look at the 3 films of June 17th, 2011. I was about to say June 24th, but that's the next episode. But let's take a look at our first movie that we have here, and that is Green Lantern. This is a movie that, like I said, should have worked. It had Ryan Reynolds at the head of a big superhero picture in a film where he's surrounded by a pretty damn good cast, a director who rarely made a bad movie in his career, Martin Campbell. What could possibly go wrong? Well, we're going to find out right now. A test pilot embraces his destiny as a cosmic superhero in the adaptation of the popular DC Comics series. Ever since he saw his fearless father perish in a tragic aviation mishap, all Hal Jordan could think about was flying. It was the only thing the brash, cocky, and irresponsible test pilot ever truly excelled at. Little did he realize he was destined for something much bigger. Somewhere out in space, a powerful force of evil known as Parallax is spreading fear and destruction. The only hope for defeating Parallax is the Green Lantern Corps, a group of intergalactic warriors powered by the force of will. When legendary Green Lantern Abin Sur, played by Tamara Morrison, is sent hurtling towards planet Earth after a deadly encounter with Parallax, his ring chooses Hal to continue the fight. The ring sprints our hero to the Green Lantern's home planet of Oa for training, the first human ever to receive the honor of becoming a Green Lantern. Hal is viewed with scorn by the League's leader, Sinestro, played by Mark Strong, who trains him alongside the hulking Kilowog, voiced by Michael Clark Duncan. Later on planet Earth, frail scientist Hector Hammond, played by Peter Sarsgaard, becomes infected with Parallax's evil while performing an autopsy on Abin Sur, and uses his newfound powers to stake claim on Carol Ferris, played by Blake Lively, Hal's lifelong friend and fellow test pilot. When Hal learns that Parallax's plans to consume all life on Earth to gain the energy needed to conquer Oa, he begins looking inward for the courage to defeat the malevolent force and embrace his destiny as a super-powered peacekeeper. Like I said, here's one of these movies that, again, should have worked. Everything was going in the right direction for it, and then film came out, and the rest is infancy. Let's start off with the good things. Ryan Reynolds is far from the least of this film's problems. I mean, I think, was the perfect choice for Hal Jordan, and he was perfectly fine in the film. He does carry the film through its many faults, and I liked most of the special effects in this movie. I thought they did a very good job on the planet of Oa. I liked the design of Tomar Ray and Kilowog. The final action scene between Hal and Parallax I thought was okay. I thought it was actually pretty good, but that's about it, man. I mean, everything else was just wow. Well, let's start off with the editing, and it's very clumsy, very disappointing, especially considering who did the editing for this. This is Stuart Baird. This is like the editing god, because this is the guy who's done editing jobs on some of the great action movies of all time. I mean, Superman, he's done stuff for like the Die Hard movies, the Lethal Weapon movies. I mean, G.I. Joe, for God's sakes, but I can't believe how bad the editing on this was. This was just a clunkily put together film. And another thing that really bugged me, like I said, a lot of the special effects are good, but then you get those few moments when you look at this and you're thinking to yourself, what the hell am I even looking at here? One of the most notable examples of that is when you have this incredibly pointless scene where it's literally a Hot Wheels commercial. His Green Lantern's at this party with the Hector Hammond's family, with his father played by Tim Robbins, and something happens, and he's got to save the day, and he shows up with the Green Lantern, and he just creates these Hot Wheels ramps out of nowhere, and I have no idea what the hell they were thinking except to just sell toys with it, because my god, that looked abysmal. That looks absolutely terrible. Terrible. Like, this movie reminded me a lot of G.I. Joe, like The Rise of Cobra, which did have some bad effects, but sometimes they had some really cool ones, like The Chase in Paris was a cool effects shot. But here, when it's bad, it's really bad. G.I. Joe at least had the benefit of being a good movie all across the board. This one, no, not so much. But the biggest problem with the movie is simply and effectively the lack of a villain. Like, Parallax has a cool design, but he's basically the equivalent of the Galactus in Rise of the Silver Surfer. Not the cool-looking Galactus we just got in Fantastic Four First Steps. No, we got the one that looks like a literal cloud in the sky, like straight out of Rise of the Silver Surfer. They ripped that off for their design of this, but said, let's make him even look even more ridiculous at times, because, yeah, his design work looks pretty terrible. But then again, it gets even worse with Peter Sarsgaard. This guy is the literal definition of a bland, forgettable comic book villain who says all the villainy quotes you expect to hear from him, and he is not threatening whatsoever. I hated his character. Every time he came on screen, it's like he took over the movie, and when he did, it was just like, my god, get the fuck out of here. Like, you're making this movie much worse than it needs to be. He is such a goddamn pain in the ass in this film. Like, he's evil for not being the villain like he's supposed to be. He's evil because every time he shows up on screen, he's stealing your time and your concentration on the movie. Like, you get the idea. He sucks. He's absolutely terrible in here. Like, this is not a good movie. This is not a good film whatsoever. It's a major disappointment for everybody attached to it. Ryan Reynolds, this was supposed to be his big thing that was going to push him to the next level, and as much as he's trying to save this movie as much as he can, everything else about it is just dragging it down big time. This is a disastrous film that should have been so much better than it actually was. It killed Martin Campbell's career. It luckily didn't kill Blake Lively's career for a little bit, but again, Ryan Reynolds, man, what more do I even need to say? I think I should just let Ryan Reynolds' more successful superhero character fill you in on my thoughts on this film.
God damn, that's beautiful. You're welcome, Canada.
Couldn't have said it any better myself. That's Green Lantern for you. But, Green Lantern at least had some effort being put into it in terms of the acting by Ryan Reynolds and some of the visual effects. Effort was being put into it. This next movie, on the other hand...
And shuffle ball step, shuffle ball lunge. Step ball change, step ball change, step ball change. Word. Word to your mother.
Behold Jim Carrey in the worst possible thing he's ever been in. And trust me, that is saying a lot. Tom Popper, played by Jim Carrey, what a name. Tom Popper, Tom Popper, played by Jim Carrey, grew up having very little interaction with his father, who was off exploring the world. When he grows up, he spends most of his time on his work and ignores his children. One day, his father sends him an unusual gift, a penguin. Popper can't help but wonder why his father would send him a penguin. He tries to get rid of it, but accidentally orders 5 more. How the fuck that's supposed to happen, I don't know. This is dumb PG kids movie logic here. When his child and his ex-wife show up to celebrate his son's birthday, the kids are taken with the penguins, and Popper finally gets to connect with his kids while his work suffers. Like the audience suffers while watching this movie. I mean, oh my god. This movie not only is Jim Carrey at his lowest, but it's Mark Waters at his lowest. Remember, this is the director that gave us hits like Freaky Friday, Mean Girls, Just Like Heaven, The Spiderwick Chronicles, The Ghost of Girlfriend's Past. After that, crumbling down like a roller coaster that lost its brakes. This movie is unbelievably bad. Like, I could not believe that someone not only thought of this and said that this was a good idea to make as a big family comedy, but to do it with Jim Carrey, who clearly looks like he does not want to be there at all. Like, you can tell while watching this, he is having a mental breakdown of the worst possible kind, thinking to himself, why the fuck did I take this role? Like, and the worst part is, Ben Stiller was supposed to play him, and then they switched it around to where, like, it was supposed to be either Jim Carrey, Owen Wilson, or Jack Black. I'm telling you right now, anybody could have filled in that role, and it still would have fucking helped. It still wouldn't have fucking helped this movie. This film is an abomination of a mess. Like, this is a movie that is literally the equivalent of jiggling your keys. Pretend these are keys, because I don't have keys up here. Jiggling your keys in front of an audience for an hour and a half, because it shuts your kids up, and, you know, the adults feel fine because, hey, I shut my kids up. I don't need to parent anybody. You get the idea. This movie is terrible. I mean, I don't care that this is made specifically for kids. Kids deserve much smarter movies than this pile of garbage. Like, now that I think about it, June is not a very good month for kids films, because even the company that would make great kids films is going to make a terrible movie, and we're going to get to them in the next episode, but yeah, this movie is awful. This is an unbelievable mess of a film. I don't care that it was specifically made for kids. The people who are involved in this are way too talented to be involved in this. This is written by Sean Anders and John Morris, who did Sex Drive. Jared Stern, who later did the Lego Movie. It features Carla Gugino, who, to her credit, is giving one of the few good performances in here. Jeffrey Tambor's in here. Angela Lansbury. I can't believe it so much. I'm almost throwing up in my mouth here. Angela Lansbury's in this movie. Like, they grabbed her out of retirement to do this. Like, this is... Okay, granted, she wasn't retired, but you get the idea. You got Claude Craig in here, Philip Baker Hall, Ophelia Lovely Bond. You know, so much good talent is in this movie, and there's just nothing there. There's literally nothing of value to this film whatsoever. This is literally a movie where you're watching Jim Carrey having a mental breakdown and thinking to yourself, is this really what my... You're watching him really think to himself, is this really what my career has come down to? Like, just stupid film. Terrible movie. But hey, if anything else, it gave us a hell of a great midnight screenings reaction from Jake whenever he was with Brad Jones and all them. Of course, no longer like that because of what happened between the two of them. But yeah, let's be honest. The only reason why this movie has any memorability to it is because of that midnight screenings video. If you find that online, that's more enjoyable than anything in this movie here. Just, ugh. Oh man. Okay, keep it together now. Let's head on to the last review that we have here, and that is Freddie Highmore and Emma Roberts starring in The Art of Getting By.
George, I am a surgeon!
Okay. That is not what happens in the movie, but it's certainly much better than anything else that happens in the movie. It's one of the greatest overacting performances of all time, and it's one of the most hilarious overacting performances ever. In fact, let's play it again.
I am a surgeon!
One more time.
I am a surgeon! I am a surgeon! Dr. Hunt, I am a surgeon!
I'm sorry. Some people may look at me and seem like I'm being an asshole. No. That is one of the stupidest, over-the-top performances ever. Even if for somebody who has autism, would look at that and go, like, pin it back down a little bit, guy. I know you may think I sound like that, but I don't sound like that whatsoever. I mean, that's one of the biggest jokes of a performance ever. That, you know, that's one of the examples of somebody who's begging for an Emmy award so badly, like. Yeah, it's not going to happen, man, with a performance like that, and obviously he never won an Emmy for that, which, and I'm nothing against Freddie Highmore, but I'm sorry, performances like that are just, it's the literal equivalent of Colin Firth winning an Oscar for a performance that is literally a body of work Oscar, and not for a performance that you really deserve it for, but this is The Art of Getting By. Back to this movie. You follow George, played by Freddie Highmore, who is a lonely high school senior who forms an unlikely bond with a popular classmate named Sally, played by Emma Roberts. And truth be told, these two have been really good in other movies in the past. But in a movie like this is literally a waste of your time. This is a movie that is literally... Rotten Tomatoes, I think, sums it up nicely with their consensus. A sitcom-level twee mess that bakes in the typical manic pixie dream girl and boring withdrawn boy hero. Couldn't have said it any better myself. This is the type of thing that you would see on ABC Family in the 2000s, right next to Pretty Little Liars and The Secret Life of the American Teenager. But you don't have, bigger names like Freddie Highmore and Emma Roberts there. They're not up there with the echelons of ABC Family's roster of stars like Shailene Woodley and Lucy Hale. But then again, they would become stars in their own merits. But, this is not a good movie whatsoever. It's a boring film. Freddie Highmore and Emma Roberts are doing the best they can to save it, but this is literally the type of film you would see on the CW or ABC Family on a Tuesday night. Like, nobody comes back to see something like this and thinks to themselves, oh, this is that great of a film. No, it's not that great of a movie. It's a lazy film. It's a boring movie. You don't like any of these characters whatsoever. You wish these two would be in much better movies than this pile of garbage, because that's what this is, really. A pile of pretentious garbage. Plain and simple. I got nothing else for you. The art of getting by. The art of getting by would be to stay the hell away from this movie. That's for damn sure.
I am a surgeon.
And I'm an Abercrombie & Fitch model. I'm sorry for that. I gotta get out of here. That's gonna wrap this episode of Time About the Movies up. And we'll wrap June up on the next episode with 3 movies. 2 of them will be good. The first one, not so much. And it's a shocking not so much, because Pixar has usually been pretty good up to this point. But then you had to go back into... John Lasseter had to go back into that deep hole of his dream project Cars and make a sequel to Cars. And he couldn't just make any sequel to Cars. No. He had to make it the most complicated, the most stupidest film in the series, to the point where it was not a big hit when it came out, both financially and critically. But we'll talk about that one coming up on the next episode. We also have Cameron Diaz starring in the raunchy R-rated comedy Bad Teacher with Jason Segel and Justin Timberlake among the cast. And we have one of the best documentaries I have ever seen. This is, of course, the documentary Conan O'Brien Can't Stop, made during the time when he was leaving the Tonight, when he was fired from the Tonight Show. Before he made his TBS debut, he was on the worldwide tour, stateside tour, if you will, not worldwide, but and this was a documentary focusing on O'Brien during that time. And we'll take a look at that one as well. It'll start off slow with Cars 2, but it will get better by the end, because Conan O'Brien Can't Stop's pretty good, and so is Bad Teacher too. But we'll talk about those in depth tomorrow on the show, so definitely be on the lookout for that tomorrow. But until then, thank you so much for watching this, and I hope you did enjoy this. If you did, please go ahead, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification button. And also don't forget to check out the playlist right there, and check out the last episode I did earlier today, if you will, because I did an episode earlier today on the show. But with all that said, whether it's in the past, the present, or the future, I will see you at the movies. Take care.